There are less than 1 million people now living within Glasgow's 46 square miles, but emigration and a massive overspill of Glaswegians has not halted the city's housing program as it races to the boundary lines, using up building land until it seems the whole Clyde Valley is covered with houses. But if the major areas for house building have been used, the need for better homes is far from satisfied. And no conceivable rate of clearance and rebuilding can cope with the numbers of totally inadequate houses that need to be replaced. So for 20 or 30 years, the city has a problem that has no apparent solution, unless we try to buy time. And that means taking a fresh look at Glasgow's tenements. There was a time when Glasgow was almost exclusively a city of tenements. They gave the city its particular look, its own style, able to solve the problems of sloping sites and corner sites, containing anything from a 1-apartment to an 8-apartment flat. An architecture for city folk. But no matter how well they looked, the older tenements often lacked the basic amenities, and that was how we judged them. Not so many years ago, the gas mantle served to light the black kitchen range. A woman's pride. It could be cleaned and polished in less than a day. Nearby, a cold water sink, and next to that, a coal bunker, and above it, 2 shelves for the pots and the wedding china. In older parts of the city, such memories are still strong, and the government encourages the corporation to create special treatment areas which qualify for extra improvement grants, for to improve whole areas is beyond the scope of the private individual. Not all the buildings will be brought up to standard. Some will be pulled down. The rest will have fewer homes in each block, the old back courts re-landscaped. In some areas, the work is well in hand. This tenement was built before the First World War, at the prompting of a City Improvement Act. It is now being brought up to meet with modern standards. This is the original stairhead lavatory, once shared by 3 families living on the same landing, now part of a modern bathroom in one of the 2 flats created out of the original 3. This flat remains pretty much as it was in terms of space. Only the galley kitchen area has been borrowed from next door. The bathroom has been created out of the old scullery and a bed recess. The flat across the landing now incorporates the old single apartment, making a new 3-apartment flat with bathroom.
Must be Joey. Johnny, stop footing with that and get the carpets in.
In improving homes, the corporation or the private landlord are making use of grants that are available to the ordinary citizen. Grants exist to create for the first time the straightforward needs of a house. In Scotland, you can get a grant to improve a house if it will stand for 7 years after the improvement is completed. And if that doesn't seem too long a time, consider the alternative would mean 7 years without readily available hot water, or another 7 years of using a stairhead lavatory. At the discretion of the local authority, the grant can be extended to help with other costs for home improvements. All that is required is that you own the flat you live in, or can encourage your landlord to make application for the grant. All over the city, ordinary people are learning to group themselves together to simplify the business of improving their homes. By working together, they cut down on professional fees, on labour costs. If everyone can agree on the same site for a new bathroom, the pipe laying is simplified and will therefore cost less. It is an exercise in common sense as well as neighbourliness.
This is our house. It consists of a room and kitchen and scullery. And we've got 2 beds. It's an outside toilet we've got. And we've got 2 bed recesses. One of the bed recesses is obsolete. But we thought, if we closed it in, and the space behind it, we installed a bathroom for getting the corporation grant. And we've got that done. Other people come up and saw our bathroom, and they're very pleased with it, and they're getting the same thing done to their house.
For most of us, a tenement close means a lavatory on the half landing, 3 houses to a landing, and a stairway run down and worn by 70 to 80 years of constant use. Outside, the building can tell a different story. A pleasant red stone tenement, near to the school and shops. A good place to live if it had the basic amenities. The private landlord is improving this property on a close-by-close basis. The common stairway is improved, and the centre flat, in this case a room and kitchen, is divided between the flats on either side to create 2 new 3-apartment houses. The scheme is attractive to the private landlord, for government grants help with the cost, and the corporation undertake to rehouse people displaced by the improvements. No matter how generous the government grants, or how helpful the local authority, improving homes still brings the problems of moving people. House improvement is as much about improving the quality of people's lives as improving their homes. But no change can be a change for the better unless people know and understand the need for change and the benefits it will bring.
Did you get in to see the house next door yet?
No, but I saw the one down the stairs, and it said they've taken in a single apartment, and it's very nice.
Oh, maybe we should have put in for a 3-apartment.
Oh no, I think we're all right here.
In the east end of the city, an experiment is being carried out involving a tenement block of 26 closes. Over 300 homes are to be improved. The people from the building have formed their own committee with a representative from each close to look out for their interests. And already people from nearby tenements are petitioning to be included in the scheme. The building comprises houses owned by private landlords, houses owned by the corporation, and owner-occupied houses. It has houses above and below the tolerable standard. Some are in the process of being privately improved, others are already improved. Mrs. McPherson's bedroom was once the single apartment flat next door. When it was vacated, she and her husband bought it. With the help of improvement grants, Mrs. McPherson has completely recreated and made over her enlarged home, using her own ideas, bringing in her own workmen, negotiating the grants to help meet the costs. Under this new scheme, Mrs. McPherson's house will remain as she has improved it, but she will benefit from the general upgrading of the building. For the corporation will be improving the stairways and the back courts, as well as improving other houses. In the same block, Alec Gordon is well on the way with his own plans.
This single end is still in the same position as it was before it was bought. All they have done is sealed the door off. We hope to get the single end and move the cooker and the sink into the bed recesses to create a galley, which will give us a back bedroom for the boys, convert the kitchen of a single end into a bedroom for us, using this as a lounge and the bathroom through the back.
I've lived for many years in the west end of Glasgow, in Sucky Hall Street, very close to Kelvin Grove Park, and I have a flat that I like very much. It's a spacious flat. It's got many amenities, being near to shops in the centre of town, but it has a few drawbacks, and one was a back court which was built many years ago for a wash house and ash bins, and I felt something should be done about this but didn't know how to go about it. And then I heard of an environmental grant that was available, but this was only available if all the people in the block got together and agreed to do it. And this meant that somebody had to go around speaking to the people, telling them about it, and encouraging them to partake in this scheme. And after many weeks of doing this, we decided to form a residents' association. And through this association, we made application to the corporation for the grant that is available. And this grant has now been given to us. And the amount is large for the number of houses, there being about 100 in the block. We will be able to spend about £20,000 landscaping the whole of the back court, and rather than having individual back courts for each close, the whole area will be landscaped with different trees and bushes and new ash bins and places that children can play, that old people can sit. And not only will it look a lot better, but there should be a community spirit about the whole building that never was there before.
In this scheme, pre-war housing, new housing, and the traditional tenements are all linked by a common back court. The focus of attention is directed into the heart of the property, creating a pleasant living space in an area that is frequently left derelict. The business of home improvement is not limited to providing basic amenities. If you have set your heart on a bathroom suite in deep cosmonaut red, or a kitchen dreamed up for a glossy magazine, you can still qualify for a grant, but you pay for the luxury extras. The first step is to learn to look at the same rooms and kitchens our parents looked at, and to see them differently. Home improvement grants and environmental grants do not exist as an alternative to new houses, but to provide the ordinary citizen with help and encouragement to make his existing home and its surroundings a more pleasant place to live. The city that was for so long apparently unchanging is now in a constant state of change and renewal, and it has only a limited amount of energy for housing. For some people, rehabilitation of housing means an opportunity to preserve, in part, something of the style and the character of the old Glasgow. For others, it is a stopgap method of providing the basic amenities necessary for an ordinary family life. Fortunately, the one attitude does not have to exclude the other. And if the city is wise, it can have the best of both worlds. It deserves the double advantage.